Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast. Sparky Coach Pod, live event, our first live pod ever at our live event with the four of us. Give us a cheer, everyone.
Yeah. Is that how you know it's not fake? Because I was like, this is just facing us. There is people here.
This is AI-generated Tom's dream. Yeah. Tommy, I must admit, when I left you back in the Shire, you were like a lot littler than you are now. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Well, self-care, mate. Yeah.
Self-care. What is the latest in your world?
My world? Just been everywhere. Been to LA for 2 days.
You went to the Sonance?
Yeah. Just went to Sonance land. Yeah, that was cool. Went and saw their factory and not too far away, mate.
That's right.
Went and saw their factory, went and inspected how they make speakers and how they sell speakers. And it was super interesting. Hey, so heard some 15-inch invisible subwoofers. That blew my mind. Now I unfortunately want to rip my whole showroom to pieces and do it all over again. So it's going to be an expensive trip, I reckon.
Nice. What's your couple of takeaways from Sonance?
Takeaways? Just sort of how to sell. It was a lot of sales training, which was really good. It was a lot about not selling product to people and more selling comfort, which sounds a bit wanky, but like it's the way they sort of explain it was like, if you want to try and sell to high-end clients, don't just try and start talking product specs to people because they don't give a fuck. It's more just about, trying to sell what they're going to get out of it and how it's going to make their home comfortable and all that kind of stuff, which makes a lot of sense. Told us a really cool story about a guy that came in and was looking to just put basic speakers in and walked out of there and spent 250 grand on speakers because they just sold him the fucking dream over the cinema and invisible speakers and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, it was cool.
That is cool. So what is your sales process? You seem like the most non-salesy guy.
Me?
I know.
I am not salesy as when you imagine, Bill the car salesman from The Simpsons, which you would know.
Yeah.
Mine is like education, really. I reckon I just try and get people in our showroom and just legit educate them, and if it's something doesn't seem right for them, I don't try and push them down that way to sell more product. I just say I feel like that honesty is usually the best way.
And do you find sales easier with a showroom? They've walked people through
100%. With what we do, yeah, you got to be able to show product and stuff, without a doubt. Yeah, so we always used to sell with just PDFs in emails and just sending emails about products and links and stuff like that. Getting people into a showroom to just touch and feel, PG way, is
correct. Yeah.
Pull the cord.
Just watch it. You do have a bed. Yeah.
There is a bed. So it's a bit sus. Yeah. But just allowing them to come in and experience it and figure out what they like. Sometimes people come in and they're like, oh no, they sort of think that they wouldn't want speakers as an example, but then they hear them and they're like, oh fuck, actually I do want that. And I don't really care too much about the switches that I thought I wanted. It's just an educational thing.
Do you have houses you could walk through and tour? Is that the next best thing before a showroom, or is that equally as important?
We've done a few of those. So with really high-end or particular clients, sometimes I'll reach out to past clients and just sort of ask them. I've done a few free services on their system to try sweeten the deal to get these other clients in, and that's worked really well as well. And I think that's even better because then they actually talk to a past client too.
Yeah.
Which gives them a lot of confidence that we're not just saying we can do something. They actually get to talk to someone about it. Yeah, so.
That's amazing. Good. Yeah. And Cam, always a pleasure.
Yep.
What's the lay? It's we talked yesterday, so no real news. And the 4-dog fresh from your factory
renos, yeah. Blow the budget.
Can you tell us?
Got to get another job now to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to sell everyone product.
Yeah. But, that's why we're here, Lockout.
What is that
product?
No, I'm just started e-commerce now, just selling electric toothbrushes. That's all I can think of.
drops.
Just finished the renos on the shed. It was fucking stressful as it made me realise how shit other tradies are in a way of like, oh fuck, would they listen to this? I hope not.
We're pretty
If you
popular.
worked on the new age office in Balance.
Stop listening. No, I meant more in
Ones who didn't turn up.
communication things. We had a few things where people's estimates doubled and things like that, which was kind of like it almost set in motion of like how I just thought like, you know, I guess what we provide or deliver to people is like really good, and then what other people are like builders that, you know, obviously using similar trades that we used on our thing, I'm like, fuck, we must look real good when some of these, it's not even the workmanship, it's more like like people just rocking up. Like sometimes there's like someone just rocked up to install something with no like anyone talking to anyone, and I'm like, mate, this job is nowhere near ready for that. Why are you even here? It's like, oh no, I just thought we'd rock up and just do it. I'm like, fuck, like how are you doing this on a house? Like there's no communication and things like that. So it was like pretty interesting to see that side, and like being the person that's paying the bill and doing everyone cost plus, which is the conversation we'll go in for this. But yeah, we put everyone, we like had everyone on cost plus, and then we kind of started getting quotes towards the end because everyone's estimates doubled, and yeah, the cost plus thing was kind of not really working out in our favor.
Cost plus is great when you have great people and lots of money. Yeah. And so is renovating too. Has anyone out here renovated before?
You're making me real nervous because I just started my house and you're on cost plus, and I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is that why you got to sell some more speakers?
You better start getting some quotes in.
Yeah. But if you've been on the other side of the coin with cost plus, it can be absolutely diabolical. But in saying that, quoting presents its own issues with like, I didn't allow for that. I didn't allow for that. So it is all about like getting in. And the older I get, the more I'm realizing it's about trust and relationships and reputation. And your reputation can be knocked down in an hour, really, if you cook it. But we're going to get into a bit of a strip off later, and that's
strip off.
Yeah, that's clothes optional shipping cable, just undies only if you've got undies on. But I think we're going down the.
He's not wearing undies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not every day. Does anyone have any questions they would like answered from the pod?
Wow.
Don't all shout.
So we'll just sit here in silence for 45 minutes.
Yeah, you have to come up and introduce yourself and ask. Yeah.
That's going to make them not want to do it.
Yeah.
Tommy. I'm Joey. I'm from Benchmark Electric. I had a question. Hi, hey Tom. I had a question for 40. When you were planning your shed and reno and all that, how did you allow for future growth or expansion in that shed without capping your, obviously, ability to...
I decided to put a cafe in that's now been denied by council. So now I've got like a massive space for future to move into. That's about it. Like, honestly, we pretty much maxed it out the space. Like we haven't really thought about it, but now that's not going through. We're like, all right, sweet. We've got like 3 more offices probably now. We can fit 3 more desks in there. We can probably also squeeze a couple more people in. But for future expansion, like the main plan would be maybe like knock it down one day and build something big there. That'd be like down the track. Larger. But maybe that's like maybe 10 years away.
We'll be doing that knockdown on cost plus.
And that's not on cost plus.
Yeah. Lock it in now.
Lock it quite in now.
But yeah, give us a bit of a lockout and live spiel. Where's that at? So you sold out the first round, and round 2 is
sold out first round in like 12 hours or something. Like it was like sort of pretty cool to see that. Pretty interesting going from the other side of like, I guess we're all like you're talking about, we're selling labor and materials, but then to go to selling product where it's like it's almost stress free of like you create something, you sell it for a price, and you don't give it until you get paid, which is pretty cool. And seems pretty stress free. I'm going in the market now of getting it into like wholesale already, which is good. Only problem is like having enough. I think like we'll do another drop, which will pretty much, I reckon it'll sell out again, like double the amount, and then we're gonna get them stocked in every C&W in Australia as well. So, but it's a whole nother job, and it's turning into that. I'm doing it like every night for a few hours, and then my missus is coming in and doing it as well. So it's time consuming as well.
Yeah, you like seem to like the hustle of work, and you obviously enjoy it to an extent. Do you like? How hard are you pushing, and what's the future of the?
How hard am I pushing that?
Oh no, just in general, like at nighttime, editing videos and stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I actually.
Yeah. I definitely do too much. If people like, I definitely do. I do too much. I know that, but I like it. Like I enjoy what I do. Like I get up at 4 a.m. every day, and then I start my day from there, and then I fill the day. Like there's not a second that's not filled until I close my eyes. And then I wake up like 4 hours later and do it all again.
I love it.
And then drink OxyShred to get us through. Disclaimer, that should be illegal. I think I tried my first one today. That is not good for your body, mind or soul.
Yeah.
I'm the anti-OxyShredder, actually.
We were not human for about an hour now.
So context-wise, Tommy flew in this morning. 40 picked him up. They went to Jaden's factory in Gold Coast somewhere.
Up north Gold Coast.
And you guys just necked some OxyShred.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to see what all the hype was about, and we felt the hype.
We freaked out. We freaked out. And then we had to have a breakfast beer to level it.
Yeah, we settled it out. Beer,
and bacon and egg roll is what I had for breakfast.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah.
I love it.
Great. 40. Tell us about the product. What's in it?
The product. Can I show the product?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Exit stage left.
Show us the shirt too, because I've got a white shirt. They're available in multiple colors?
Black and white. That's it. That's all you get. I've actually got a new design. I got a new design coming out now. You can hear it here first. Tell me if you like this design. I've changed the logo, and I've got the padlock putting the circuit breaker in an arm bar, and it says "Lockout" before you tap out, as in die. Is that good? Yeah, sweet. There you go. Coming soon?
What's the room think? They like it?
Something different. What do we get in the bag? Got a bag. Yeah. For listeners' context, I pulled out this bag.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Nothing gets cut out. Nothing gets cut out. It's as is.
For
Was that better?
the record, it was the Collab boys and the Better Electrical boys. So they're gonna have a repping Christmas party, I reckon.
Yeah. Join. We're gonna give these guys someone to give a chance to win one. The elusive bag that's sold out everywhere. You probably sell it on eBay for double the price at the moment, actually. You get 5 tags, sticker pack, 5 lock dogs, and 2 padlocks in a bag. It's the best on the market, obviously.
Best in class.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. I'm so proud. You are such an inspiration to so many people. It's like seeing that Ox 100 you ran the other day. I was like following it from Instagram, and you just made me want to be better. Like I was watching it, and I'm like, "Wow, this guy does so much." And yeah. I was like, this guy can get stuffed. Hey, no. I mean, I was so stoked that you're such a huge part of the electrical industry and so willing to give up your time and knowledge and experience, but also out there in the community raising money for everything. So, man, you make me want to be better. So, good job. Can you tell us about the Ox and how much money you raised?
The Ox, the Ox is a 100K running event. It's the 3rd year we've ran it. Started off with me and another mate who came to me with an idea after he went for a morning run, saying, "Let's do an event." So one of our friends, his daughter passed away. She was 9 years old of DIPG, which is a brain cancer, like a brain tumor that affects predominantly children. No funding for it in Australia from the government. It's actually the cancer that kills the most children, but because it kills about 8 children a year, there's no cure. You get about 12 months diagnosis to live when you're diagnosed with it. And yeah, so she defied the odds and survived a fair few years after her diagnosis with it, but then sadly passed away when she was 9. So we wanted to create something that raised money for the event, because they pretty much the only funding they get is from events and fundraisers that they do. Most of the people that do the fundraising are families that have been affected and lost children to it, and they set up organisations and and events around it. So we wanted to do that. The family that that were affected by it, like they're not the kind of people to probably go out and seek public assistance with it. They're like quite a private family, but they gave us the full support for us to do it. We raised over 100 grand the first time. With the second year last year was bigger again, and we did 240 grand, and then this year we grew it again, which was 260 grand that we raised, which is so you run 4.2 kilometers on the hour every hour for 100 to get to 100. You can do it in teams and stuff as well, but then if you complete it, then that's like a pretty good. I've done it twice. I sat it out this year and did a few runs and just sort of filmed everything and was more there to organise, because when you're balls deep in like 80 kilometres and people asking you questions is like the worst thing ever. So I was like, I want to see it from the other side. And like there's a crew that comes down and drinks beers all night, and I was like, I'm going to be on that crew next year. And that's what I did, and it was good. So
Smart choice.
It was a smart choice.
And you said Laura ran it?
Yeah, she ran it with me last year, did the whole thing. She's a weapon. She smacked it out pretty. She was doing some crazy fast laps like in the last few. So just, she can push through some pretty hectic pain boundaries and stuff. So always good to see. Get in the trenches with your wife and do that. So it's good.
Amazing. Well, let's get into the strip off. Now, who out there reckons they're a weapon tradie?
Who wants to win?
Who wants to win
Who wants
a
to win a
lockout
lockout?
kit or two? All right, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the pod. We're talking cost plus, which how many of you guys out there deal with cost plus work versus quoted? Yeah, there's about half hands here. Stereotypically frowned upon from other coaching companies, you might say. And I had a lot of success on the cost plus, as do I know you guys, like a bit of a mixture, a bit of a mixed bag. And I think it's really critical because I think 40, you mentioned it before, the revenue talk around selling a product is quite predictable. Like of Lockout and Live, you better go like revenue up, profit up. And Sparky Coach the same, like revenue up, profit up, because the product is relatively predictable. When you're selling labor and materials, just because revenue's up doesn't mean profits up. So, which is really interesting metric. And I think when you've got coaching companies that have only sold a product preaching or only sold like one style of business preaching fact or folklore or whatever across, you can get a bit like lost in translation. So I just think like if you're making money, like you can make a lot of money on hourly rate work, and there's essentially, if you look at it hypothetically, if there's a margin across your rate, like what gives the hourly rate context? Your wage component gives a context. The super component, wage is variable depending on where you live, like $40 rural areas plus super. How much are you guys paying on the Gold Coast? I don't want to even say it. I'll say it. Like other areas, $55 now, maybe more for supervisors, operations managers. So there's a big spectrum of $20 there. Super's pretty fixed. The other variable component is cost of operations. Well, unless you're in NZ, then it's Kiwi Saver, 3.5%. But
Don't spend it all at once.
But cost of operations or your overhead is completely variable. I've seen 20, I've seen 70, stereotypically 45 with a factory, 35 without a factory, give or take 10, 15% stereotypically. So you get a huge variation there. You've also got your profit margin on top. So not all 120s are created equal. 120 for some is profitable, 120 for some kind of sucks. And then you've got what that hourly rate also allows you to sell. So does that hourly rate allow you to sell a bunch of materials at a higher margin? Does that hourly rate guarantee you work to get you through a quiet time? Does that hourly rate allow you to pull subcontractors in at, your employees might be costing you $100 an hour, subbies costing you 75. So if you look at that 25 and that materials margin holistically across the job, and your parameters for cost plus are 20 to 25% net profit. That should be roughly where it sits. If it's less than that, something's not right. If it's more than that, unless you're moving a large materials at a high, like that's pretty rare electrically. Automation, aircon may be different, but I think it's something you need to know what to do. But yeah, what do you guys think? Because I know you've dabbled in both ends of the party, and we'll just flesh your thoughts out.
Shall I go first? No. Yeah, no. We're actually doing less and less cost plus these days. The cost plus we do is generally smaller little jobs, so I'd say like a day long or a couple of hours, sometimes a couple of days. But on the larger projects, it's pretty expected now that everything has to be quoted. But I do enjoy the cost plus because you just you sort of just know that you can send some guys there, and then you can look at the job at the end, and you can adjust to make sure that you actually made money on the project, where you don't have that luxury, obviously, if it's a quota job. So yeah, I do miss the cost plus life.
And how do you dictate a job whether it goes? And this might be a question for everyone. Like, how do you dictate whether a job goes cost plus or quoted? Because I think a lot of times it's dictated from the client. The client might have a certain sort of, this is how we work, and we want to change everything and roll this way, and you guys just do what we want. Because cost plus is essentially a transfer of risk. If you quote it, you take the risk. Cost plus, they take the risk. So someone's taking risk. And but yeah, how do you sort of navigate that? You're obviously a little bit different to electrical because you're selling way more materials. Yeah, and you're also a little bit more predictable.
Yeah, so we have one. We do actually have one large cost plus job on at the moment. So the way that works for us, though, is we do it as an estimate, essentially, because we know that 70 to 80% of our stuff is like a fixed material cost that we obviously mark up. So we sort of say, well, here's all your material costs, and then we estimate that it's going to take this long to program that, this long to install that, this long to install that. And then I just generally, when they want like a whole bunch of hardware, we just send them the invoice that they basically just verbally or in writing approve, and we send them that, and then we just do the hours as cost plus. So that's sort of how we roll. I don't know how you guys would roll more. How do you do it? Like,
I think so a lot of it's type of project. So generally we find for the work that we do is type of client, and it's a lot to do with time frame. So if it's like a really short time frame, and we're generally dealing with the client, I put a pigeonhole them a little bit. You're dealing with people, generally speaking, they're quite well off in the sense, and they're very entrepreneurial. So they sort of buying things and moving things around. That's our sort of type of client. And they'll be like, hey, I bought this shed. I need this, this, and this done, and we need it spun around in like 3 weeks. So they're not interested in a quote. They're just interested in getting their product to market as such, which is, it could be a fit out, it could be they're renting it, so they're investors, or it could be like, hey, they're putting it up for sale, or they could be using it. So we have a couple of clients who, they're just continually growing their business and they need more space. And it's like, hey, we need you in here, we need this, 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 and this. And it's not actually feasible for them to get a quote because they actually don't even know what they want yet. They're like, I know I need this and this. And then each day you go in there, it's like, and we need this. And then we need this, and then we need this. But they need you to start the day that they got the keys, essentially, to it, because they're time sensitive to get it sorted. So there's that part of it that we traditionally deal with a lot, to the time sensitive nature of it all around that.
So if Betty calls you, right, or calls Sarah, who's answering the phone these days? Sarah, and wants 3 ceiling fans in her Hunter 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's just banged what the price is.
And how do you factor in like timber, no timber, switch wire, no switch wire?
So Sarah will generally pull it up on Google Maps, like the address, just to confirm it, and then she's asked standard questions and gets that. If it's too curly, then she'll pass it over to Trav.
Yeah. So will you get there at say $250 a fan and then go, I've got to add a timber, that's extra $90?
Yeah,
or is it just all inclusive?
Nah, like we just, a lot of that stuff we would just assume, like we allow worst case.
Yeah.
Because it's not in our best interest, not in the best interest, but it's a waste of time to be conservative. It's just like, well, this is what it is. We find, and we just get better results. So like, that's what it is. Bang, away we go. And if we don't have to nog it, we have a win. If we do have to nog it, well, that's just life at the end of the day.
Yeah, cool. 40, you got lots of thoughts on this, obviously.
Yeah, we always kind of straight away from fucking yobbos. The yobbos are back.
Tell you what, I think the better boys and the collab boys have just found their fucking soulmates.
Yeah.
Like peas in a pod.
Next time you go down the bar, by the way.
Yeah. Rude.
We'll be down there soon. I can wrap this up.
I don't know. We always sort of thought that we wanted to stray away from it a bit, try and quote everything. And then we started learning that there's people that are way too unorganized to work on a quote, like not from our end, from like a builder's end or client's end. And then you start just going, this is like when you start doing a cost analysis on every job going, we're hemorrhaging money here. What's the difference when we're doing it's the same job as here, but it's like, like when you lay it out, it's like, oh, it's the misplanning. Like, oh, can you just come and like rough this bedroom in? and then can you come and rough this bedroom in? And it's like, whoa, hold on.
Leave
That's
this
that we
coil
don't
for the
do that.
wall
Like,
here.
like you can't do that on a quote. So I know we're starting to, like, some of the houses we're doing now. Like, I don't think you can quote. Like, you know, like we gave an estimate for a huge house that, like, it almost doubled because of changes and stuff like that. And you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, like, imagine locking into a quote on that. We would have completely done our ass.
Because I feel like high-end resi, if you've done proper high-end resi, it's 30 to 50% more than your price book.
And sticking to plans. Like, really, realistically, like, if someone's got that much money, they usually want to come in and make changes where they can. And it's usually after gyprock and mostly after paint. And they want to rewire the whole house.
The room,
And then they don't realise that they've got to pay for that. They just think, oh, it's a quote. That's in the quote, isn't it? For you to change everything. So I think, like, those houses, like, now we're pushing, like, even today, I just sent an email about, like, just, I know the client, I know the builder. I'm just saying, like, I think it's actually in the client's best interest to go cost plus, because I know what's going to happen. If I've got to quote it, I'm probably going to have to, like, have buffers in there. So, like, if we just go cost plus, you're getting charged the hours, it's hourly rate. So it is what it is. Like, that's the explanation to people as well. Is like, you're not getting. It's, I think, like, having that talk with someone to be like, I think people think they're going to get ripped off. And it's like what I was saying, like, you know, if you can give an estimate, like, if you know your numbers and you know what's going on, you can give an estimate, work to it, but then still notify variations, even if it is cost plus. We're like, oh, you know, that, like, yeah, that's going to be outside of the scope. So just, it's going to cost money, obviously. And then just letting people know that and being upfront, like, obviously goes a long way. And then but I think, yeah, I don't know. It's as long, you can't go wrong. If your numbers are right and, like, you're making money from your hourly rate, then you literally, it's like a stress-free. And like we were saying earlier, you know, it also takes, like, time away from, like, a job that's quoted sometimes consumes so much of, like a project manager or an ops manager or something like that. It consumes so much time, whereas, like, on cost plus, like, they can be charged out as well, whereas that you're not billing that out on a quoted job.
Yeah, we used to bill.
Yeah,
we used to bill. If I went to site, I'd bill. If any admin time, I would bill. But
took a phone call, I'd bill.
Yeah, I'm billing now, actually. But I think the best way to describe it is, if it's predictable, you can quote it. If it's unpredictable, cost plus. So if you wanted to loose, like, sum up in a sentence, like solar, aircon, not saying it's always predictable, it's relatively predictable. Automation, relatively predictable in a way. Electrical, high-end residential, incredibly unpredictable. Commercial, to an extent, not all the time, but sometimes. Like, commercial old, unpredictable.
I think a reference to high-end. So a lot of people have a picture of high-end residential as, like, oh yeah, I do high-end residential. Like, we're talking, like, Sydney Harbour. We're talking, like, beachfront Byron Bay, beachfront Gold Coast, you know, Brisbane River, down in Melbourne. You're talking, like, down at the Mornington Peninsula way.
Yeah, talking beachfront Heathcote.
Yeah, talking, you know, like, in the hinterlands and mountains around certain areas. Like, just want to reference that, like, these places are, like, they're like, I'm talking tens of millions of dollars of builds. It's not just like, oh, that's a high-end job, it's $3 million sort of thing. Like, these places, the build cost could be $20 million, for example. So just for context on it all, so, like, you can sort of check yourself if you're listening to us, that, you know, there's a market, and understanding that market exists, and it's quite ridiculous.
Hey, the punter can't hear you, Joe. What are you saying? Come. If anyone's got any questions, yell it out. I'll repeat it.
On the, like, the high end you're talking like 20 mil build cost. What would that, just so, like, electricians out there can figure out what would the electrical roughly be on something like that?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, the rough number is around about 3 to 5% on the total build cost, and then again the same for automation on top of it. So it's going to sit somewhere between the 6 and 10% mark. And I would say these days it's pushing closer to the 10% more than the lower, like, the conservative side of it all. But it really depends on the client, because some clients want all the bells and whistles, but it's quite simple, like in the amount that goes into it. But more often than not, because designers get involved, it goes, you know, and then Tom's been to.
We love when designers get involved.
Yeah, because he takes his clip. But yeah, so roughly they're the sort of percentages that you're sort of looking at.
So Joey, just before I got out of the electrical game, we finished a 10 mil build that actually you were a part of, and then it was $1 million electrical cost plus job, and excluding Tom, so I didn't have anything to do with Tom. 900 high switches. Think about that.
They're rough numbers, but if you did that, you're pretty.
Yeah, no, just in general, that's what they wanted.
Safe.
That's trendy in the architect land. I also want to talk about. Does anyone have any questions on the cost plus world before we move on? Just yell it out. Interrupt anytime. I also want to talk about. Just go for as long as we can. Yeah. I also want to talk about like percentage play. What Joey just said of the contract. The electrician is such a small percentage of the whole contract, and I think sometimes we can get swept up in that. We're the biggest fish in a little pond kind of thing. How do you guys wrangle that? Like, obviously, people can get frustrated at the builder being disorganized or the designer coming in, but realistically, if you're 3 to 5%, let's call it 5 to 10% of the job, it's not a major part. So it's like you want to be easy to deal with when you're not the main actor. How do you guys sort of approach that? Like, how do you maintain being good to deal with while still charging for variations, while still calling out something that's like, hey, we can't double visit this, what you were saying before, Ford? Yeah, any tips?
I think just like conversations is obviously a massive thing, like being upfront with people, and then if you've got good processes in place with those sort of the sort of things around variations, it obviously you come across as professional, because going off other trades probably are just doing stuff and not actually having those conversations. I think even though you are a small part, I think electrical is still classed as one of the main packages. Like, you might be on a job where the concreting is $100,000, but the concrete is gone, and like no one's talking about the concreter after they're gone. Whereas we're there from the start, pre-slab works, everything, setting up temp power, maybe doing demo. We're pretty much involved the whole way up until the end, and then usually we're there after as well. So I think trying to even make relationships with clients so that you do, I know Tommy, we were talking about it before, if you do an automation job, you usually take care of that house they're on forever after that. That's your job then. Yep. So I think even though you may be a small part, trying to make yourself a big fish in the small pond, so that you do we stay on with every client unless they're a fuckwit. We stay on with them, and that majority of the time, a lot of builders have fallen out to clients because they are a big part, and they have they have feuds, and it's they're arguing over money. And they're like, oh, we really liked you guys. We're just going to keep you doing all our work. And then we roll through, and then they do another job, and they bring us in with another builder or whatever. So I think always trying to have that relationship with the client no matter what, and just show what you can provide them, and then try and keep that relationship moving forward through the end of it.
Yeah, I've never thought about how the electrician is a part of everything. You're part of the plumber.
We're the most important trade.
Everyone knows that. Sexiest, most important. Yeah. But you're literally a part of you cross boundaries of most other trades. Yeah. Really.
Mm-hmm. Keep the lights on.
Yeah, if not all of the trades.
Yeah.
Tommy, how do you play? Because you kind of come in late a lot.
Depends what we're doing, yeah. Or no, actually, we come in first. Well, very close to first. Yeah. Design, and then we disappear for 9 months or 12 months or whatever. Yeah. And then we just rock up and just fucking look like heroes. But I don't know. I feel, especially when we're just the automation. So our package might be a high amount, but we're a very small. We might just slot in at the end and no one even knows who we are. I just feel if we need variations and stuff, it's just trying to be as helpful as possible and as friendly as possible to the builder and stuff like that, because they've been there for say 2 years and we just rock up at the end. We don't want to be a burden and a pain in the ass. So that's my go-to and I tell all our guys as well, it's just be helpful, be friendly. If there's a major issue, just call me and I'll sort it out as best I can. That's pretty much how we roll.
Yeah. So you are actually, because being on many decks with you kind of walking around and telling us what to do and where to put things.
Sometimes we're even at the design stage. So there's been some projects lately where we're in with the architect and the client before there's even a builder signed up.
Yeah.
So
cool.
super early. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you find that, Ford, in with architects at your sort of stage, or?
Yeah, I think it's it's a hard one to crack in with. we've had it where we work for a builder and then there's another Sparky where the builder's like, oh, the architect wants us to get a price from this Sparky. And we're like, so there's obviously, we don't have relationships like that with with architects. I think because we work for so many different builders, and I don't know what the dealio is with getting in with an architect who you got to pay or something like that, or if it's just who you know. Like obviously being in a small town, people know each other as well. So like someone's sister's one of the draftees or something, I don't know. So that's like, I guess there's like connections in those ways. But I don't think like we try and have like, sometimes I'll reach out to clients when it's like early stages and help them with like, we do a lot of times where there's no lighting package and it's like, oh, can you just give us a budget estimate of the size of this house? And I'm like, well, why don't we sit down with the client and we do your lighting design? Like we're more than happy to do that. That's like you're in then. Like once you've done that, you sit down with the client. You pretty much, I normally say like, oh, an architect's going to charge you like a few grand to do this. We'll do it for free as long as we get the job. Pretty much. Like if we get someone else, you're getting the bill. But like, other than that, like if we can sit down in the room and then like it makes them feel comfortable with you and be like, oh, we obviously want to use these guys. They've done all the hard work and they've brought our vision of where we want lights to, and it's been creating relationships. So you can get in early that way if there's no plan and do that.
Yeah, bank the goodwill kind of thing.
Yeah,
really. Yeah. And I guess like we'll sort of, this topic might take time. Whatever. This will be the final topic. At the start, you know, hustle, chase. And then I feel like towards the 7 to 10 years in business, something switches and turns and people start chasing you, specifically in that builder realm and client realm in general. Like you go from sort of chasing and needing to chase to like, you know, why are you calling me? Who is this? How'd you get my number? How did you guys find that in your business? And, you know, what would you encourage someone who's like hustle chasing now?
We're getting that now, like some big builders that sort of we've always like looked to be like, oh, it'd be good to work for them. They're doing some pretty crazy stuff. And now like sort of reaching out to us for pricing and then whether that goes anywhere. But like we just got on with a commercial builder that we've been pricing for like 2 years. And we just kept pricing and we just finally got in with one with them. So, and then like, yeah, they're pretty big crew. So it'd be good to just keep that relationship. But like, yeah, it's good to have I guess it's like building a reputation. And I think like after we did like the bigger sort of TAFE job, that sort of put us in that realm of being like, all right, these guys can do this work. Cause until you get those jobs, like it's all well and good, you know, saying like trying to get work, but can you actually do it? Like that's the thing. So having the proof that you can do it and have been able to do it, have done a big house, you obviously need those shots to be able to prove that you can as well. So you got to hustle to get them. Yeah.
And what are you dropping? Because obviously you did the Kingscliff TAFE job, or Kingscliff TAFE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also, people know about it from social. So you obviously drop some money on socials or you do it yourself, whatever.
Yeah. It also goes on your Estimate One as well. Like if you use Estimate One, like, and you've won jobs through there, and then it's like, when someone's searching for like an education package, it's like we've won and done an education package, it goes against your name on Estimate One. So usually people reach out that way as well. Like, I know like a lot of people use Estimate One. It is down to pricing a lot of the time as well. Like a lot of people using cheapest price, but you know, sometimes you might be the cheapest price. Like I was talking something the other day and saying like, if you don't think you're going to be the cheapest, what if everyone's busy and everyone's just throwing crazy prices out there and you do price something normal and you win it because everyone else is so busy that they're just pricing high. So like, I don't think you should ever turn yourself away from pricing something. Like just price everything that you can. Like we try and do everything that comes across our desk, we will put a price in for it every time.
And
if we can.
Yeah. And will you guys do that? Will you fluctuate your pricing? Like we're really busy.
I didn't say like buy jobs, but we've dropped pricing to like a point where we're still making money to know to be competitive, because if we know who we're pricing against, because we'll know like, all right, if we want to like have a shot, there's no point us putting this price in because we know we're pricing against these guys that win every job. So like sometimes we'll go more competitive. Sometimes we're like, righto, we've got enough work in the pipeline. We know we don't need to go as competitive. Like you can, as long as you know your numbers and you're not losing money and you can kind of sit where you know you're still making money, but it might just be like a job where you've got 2 tradies and some subbies and it's a background job. And you've still got your crew running everything else as well. So
yeah, and
like options.
Yeah, what do you do, Tommy? Do you fluctuate?
Yeah, on the smaller like service work, fill-in sort of projects, we definitely do, depending on demand. But on on our larger projects, our pricing's super structured. It's just like plan comes in, we just do it all through ground plan as well. We don't really fluctuate that very much because I like to try and win jobs, because you might be busy now, but and you quote this job now, but that might not happen all the way down here, and you may not be busy then. But if we're super busy like we are right now, like we're in pretty much like a state of chaos, which we haven't been in for quite a while. If someone wants like this little job done and we just hardly have the time, we'll just say it has to be in like a week or two, and it's it's going to be this much, and we'll just almost try and not push them away, but like make it worth our while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's cool. And I've seen you do a lot of more face to camera stuff than usual recently.
Been getting a bit of inspiration from the big boy over here.
Yeah.
Getting some confidence. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you you get insecure?
Oh, 100% at the start. Yeah. I fucking shit myself sometimes. I'm just like, oh, I look like an idiot. But I don't know. I just do it now. Like, you just get used to it, I guess.
Saying Tom's got the best hand movements in the game. Have you seen his hand movements when you're pointing things out? Very, very flowy.
Very subtle.
We thought you did some hand training or something.
Full full Zoolander model.
I thought you've been practicing.
Never thought of that. Now next time I do it, you're
going to be pointing like this. No, you got flowy hands, mate.
I appreciate that.
It's good trait to have. I've been trying for years to get the flowy hands.
Yeah. No, we do appreciate. I was saying before to the crew in the live van, I got super insecure putting some videos off of me, and I'm like, you just got to do it, right?
Just gotta do it.
The more you do it, the better you get. What's your advice? Final sign off on on stuff. Like, what do you think? Just if you had a short opportunity to close it out.
Last pod I said I'm going to be prepared for this, and I'm
you're fucking
completely unprepared. Yeah.
You could have said like work on your hand movements or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Just keep. Well, my advice to myself, I guess, is just keep pushing through while you're super busy and got a lot on and a lot on your plate and a lot on your mind. Just keep going, battle through.
And at what point, super busy, is there ads up, pushing hard, finding staff?
Yeah. Like I think I was telling you before, we've been looking for an additional programmer for over like a year now, I reckon. It's just can't find one, so we just keep pushing.
Yeah. So if you're in Sydney and hate your boss,
I love the program.
You love the program. Come work for Tommy. That's only Sydney, right? No remote.
We do some remote jobs, but majority is like Sydney and South Coast of New South Wales.
Yeah, cool. Cam, signing off. What
I think reference the first question, or not first question, but a comment earlier around time in the game is like after X amount of years. So like, nothing beats time in the game. Like you look at, let's just reference BHP, for example. They've been around for like 120 years nearly. Like that's why they're the way they are. Like they didn't get to where they are in 5 minutes. Just as the same way you might reference yourself to someone else in your area and be like, oh my God, but they've been in the industry for 20 years. And like, so you touched on it today. We touched on a live event. I've always been a big believer, and shout out to Ange, my mother-in-law. She listens to the podcast and she loves our Instagram. She's like our biggest fan. She's always said like comparison is the thief of joy. And I know you touched on it today. I think it is like, you got to run your own race. You got to focus on yourself. Really, really important to do that. And then I think too, like one thing I really took away from today with Jody, who sort of did the mental health sort of, I guess, presentation and expert in that field, is like what you get to do. Like focus on the things you get to do rather than like the things that you don't get to do, because if you focus on those things, you'll build to get to do all the things that you wanted to over time. So that's probably pretty much from me.
Yeah. How long CRM been?
8.5 or 8 years. Yeah.
8.5. And you were saying things really changed at 5.
Yeah. About
basic.
5 to 6 years sort of thing. And then like, like 40 touched on there, like the pricing too, like we've just won like our biggest job ever and we were like 6th place. And it's because everyone else fell over in front of us. And we weren't the cheapest by any stretch, or not by any stretch, but I knew what the budget was. But it was just like they couldn't do it. Someone walked in to sign the contract. They couldn't do it either because they got offered another job. And then so like we were like literally last man standing sort of thing. And they were like, yeah, sweet, no worries at all. So like don't ever sort of, be like, oh, I can't do that because they're doing it and they're doing it. Like you just don't know what position you're in. So
yeah, that's cool. Forward dog.
Do you want to like a a life philosophy or like a wrap on this podcast? What are we talking?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I want both. I'm gonna go.
short because
No, because I was going to say I don't have a life.
and
a life
and the
philosophy.
collab and Better Boys are thirsty.
Yeah.
My one's.
No, I was actually just gonna. I think that I don't know if there's any beer left in this pub. I was just gonna say, like, I think what you guys have done today is really cool, just to pull people in, and like to everyone that's travelled from, around Australia. Who's travelled the furthest? Tassie the furthest?
Port Lincoln, I reckon.
Or Port Lincoln?
Port Lincoln, Tasmania.
Yeah. So like you got guys from SA, Tassie, Melbourne,
They're to wrestle later.
coming around,
At a
like
karaoke bar.
a couple of rum cans.
Yeah.
But I think it's sick to see like people coming to like traveling around, obviously, showing like what you guys are doing is really positive for the industry, or otherwise I wouldn't be here. But I think just thank you for that. Obviously big shout out to all the guys that have come as well today, because it is awesome to see, and like the chats that you guys got as well. Like, I don't know if you're going to be sharing of like the people that you had in for the course, but even just being able to touch on the mental health side of things, it's important to me, and we promote it heavily. But I think that was a really awesome takeaway for everyone, especially for business owners. We get swept up in everything, and it's all about us sometimes, but sometimes it is good to take a step back and think about the worth and how your team members are feeling. And I think that's something like massive that I'll take away from it. Like I've definitely taken some stuff away today where I'm going to step back and check in with everyone and make sure everyone is okay. Because I feel like sometimes I can be a bit of a, everything's surface level, and then but not actually taking care the time to make sure everyone is okay. So I think I'll definitely implement some stuff from that, which is cool.
Yeah,
so thank you for
awesome.
that.
Nah, thanks for coming. Was that? Did you have two takeaways?
That's it. That's all I got.
My takeaway is like hyper left field. And say, how many people in here are single? Just show of hands. Is no.
Gonna be fun night tonight.
Couple. Yeah. And
Come about 9 o'clock.
you know what? I would say if you're not married, choose your wife or husband or partner exceptionally well. You want someone who's kind, who's supportive. If you're struggling in that area, it might not be the best fit. So my encouragement is, like, I look at the four of us, I think we've all got incredibly supportive partners. I would say Elodie has made my job that much easier by being like just an absolute godsend. And I just think, you've got to make a good choice. Like, that's the one thing you have to get right. If it's that decision, who you marry is going to matter in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. So yeah. And if you're in that situation in a marriage, foster the marriage, like foster the relationship, go out for dinners, ask the hard questions, and spend time with your kids and spend time without your kids, all this kind of stuff. It's really, really important to get the person right, but then also to be the right person and continually grow. So that's my sort of way left field situation. But you see too many people get caught making a emotional or bad decision. And I reckon you've got to get that one right. So, or just be the best person you can be, continually improve, and boost forward into the future. It's my wrap up.
Sweet. Nice.
Heavy or good?
That was deep.
Thanks for coming. Let's go. Get up.
Thanks for coming. That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.